Welcome back. Well, guess what? Miss Wendy and Miss Rose are not back. What do we do?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I guess we're going to have to do it ourselves.
I'm worried that they won't come back.
Me too. Well, I guess we shall take over story time. Yay! I've always wanted to do it. Me too. I'm kind of glad. All right, but what do we know about story time?
Nothing.
Well, we do know one thing we could do.
Well, what's that?
Tell jokes. Do you like jokes?
What are jokes?
Okay, well just listen and then you'll laugh, okay? All right, so why is Peter Pan always flying?
I don't know.
Because he never lands. You know, Neverland, Peter Pan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, you ready for another one?
Yes.
Okay, so how did Jack know how many beans his cow was worth?
I don't know.
He used his calculator. Okay, one more. Why can't Cinderella play soccer?
Why?
She always keeps running away from the ball. Woohoo! All right, well, that's all we have. I think we have no choice but to go try to find Miss Wendy and Rose.
I'm gonna go see if anyone has seen them.
Me too. Oh, well, we just got back. Hi, everybody. Oh, we have had an adventure. I can't believe we made it. We've been gone for days. We went to the deep, dark woods and, well, things got really strange. Things got really mixed up. And I think I better tell you all about it, but first, I have a question.
Are you ready for a story? Is that what?
Are you ready for a story? I'm ready for a story. Okay, guys. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. Ready? Yeah. It's okay, I'm going to start it out right now. You ready? 1, 2, 3. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, stomp your feet. If you're ready for a story, stomp your feet. If you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, stomp your feet. Okay. We all have to sit real still now. If you're ready for a story, sit real still. If you're ready for a story, sit real still.
Do a funny one with me.
If you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, sit real still. All right, all that means that we're ready for a story. So let me tell you a little bit. Whoops, I'm on your hair. let me tell you a little bit more about what happened to us in the deep, dark wood. We went wandering in the forest, and we saw all kinds of characters there you might recognize, like, oh, I don't know, Rapunzel, Peter Pan, Cinderella, Jack and the Beanstalk, Humpty Dumpty. We saw 3 pigs, but their stories were all mixed up. So we didn't know what to do. So what we decided to do was we grabbed some books and we ran, because we thought maybe we can figure out how to help these stories get back in order. So, without further ado, welcome to the Rockbridge Regional Library Storytime. And today, the first book. Oh, Lil and Viv. Hi girls, how are you today? Do you guys know who Humpty Dumpty is? What was Humpty Dumpty?
An egg.
He's an egg? Oh, and we have to be careful with eggs because they're very fragile. Okay, well, I saw Humpty Dumpty in the deep, deep, dark woods, and his book was very different than any of the Humpty Dumpty stories I ever knew growing up. So so check this out. This is how kind of like different their story. It's a new twist on an old tale.
That's our theme.
That's our theme. Okay, so this one is written by a fantastic author called Dan Santat. And this was called After the Fall, How Humpty Dumpty Got Back Up Again, which is very important. If you fall down, what do you have to do? Get back up again.
Is that for Humpty Dumpty?
That's just for us. That's just for life in general.
Right.
Okay, sidetrack. Wally's here.
I think he wants in.
Okay. So After the Fall, this again is a story by Dan Santat, and I don't see the publisher. I should probably see the publisher. Well, I'm not sure. Anyway, my name is Humpty Dumpty. This was my favorite spot, high up on the wall. I know, it's an old place. It's an odd place for an egg to be. Take your hair off. Yeah. Can you take that off just for a second? Yeah, there we go. This was my favorite spot, high up on the wall. I know it's an odd place for an egg to be, but I loved being close to the birds. Then one day I fell. I'm sort of famous for that part. Folks called it the Great Fall, which sounds a little grand. It was just an accident, but it changed my life. Right? So he's on a big wall and he falls. Fortunately, all the king's men managed to put me back together again. Well, most of me. There were some parts that couldn't be healed with bandages and glue. Look at his face. He looks a little bit worried. After that day, I became afraid of heights. I was so scared that it kept me from enjoying my favorite things. Like the cereals that are on the top shelf, apparently. That's what I'm taking from this. He has to end up with flax and fiber flakes and grown-up food and twigs and berries. Oh, a box of cardboard. Excuse me. Bag of cereal. Excuse me. I walked past the wall every day, and I would think about climbing that ladder again. I really missed the birds and being high above the city, but I could never do it because I knew that accidents can happen. I eventually settled for watching the birds from the ground. It wasn't the same, but it was better than nothing. Then one day, an idea flew by. Making planes was harder than I thought. It was easy to get cuts and scratches, but day after day, I kept trying and trying. I didn't give up. Until I got it just right. Look at that awesome paper airplane, bird airplane. My plane was perfect. It flew like nothing could stop it. I hadn't felt that happy in a long time. It wasn't the same as being up in the sky with the birds, but it was close enough. Unfortunately, accidents happen. Uh-oh, what do you think's going to happen?
It's gonna go away.
What do you think?
It's gonna go away.
Oh, they always do. Looks like that bird is going to go over the big, huge wall. Uh-oh, and there's Humpty. What does he do now? I almost walked away again. But then I thought about all the time I'd spent working on my plane and all the other things I'd missed. I decided I was going to climb that wall. But the higher I got, the more nervous I felt. I didn't want to admit it. I was terrified. I didn't look up. I didn't look down. I just kept climbing one step at a time. Until I was no longer afraid. He made it. One step at a time. Maybe now you won't think of me as that egg who was famous for falling. Crack, crack, crack. Hopefully, you'll remember me as the egg who got back up. Good job, Humpty. Sorry. Whee, look, he's got wings. Does that mean he hatched into a bird? Humpty Dumpty is an egg. This is all very, very confusing. And learn how to fly. Oh, he did. He hatched. He's left his shoes and his clothes and his shirt behind and his bandages, and he's got big wings. The end. Look at that. I think it's great. Who knew? There's another story. Oh, there it is. Roaring Brook Press. All right. Yeah. So I like that story because we learn how to be brave. And even if we fall, suppose we're on the swings and we fall off the swings. And,
I fall off the swings all the time.
right? And then what? Do you just lay there on the floor?
No.
You get back up. So I have a
I
song.
get back up and then start jumping.
I have a song for us about Humpty Dumpty, you guys. Okay, let's everybody stand up. All of you out there in Storytime land, it's time to move around. By the way, this is my Red Riding Hood. So stand up. Okay, actually, oh, I'm sorry. Are you okay? All right, everybody knows the Humpty Dumpty song, right? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall.
Okay?
All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty
That's
together
okay,
again.
they know it.
Okay, so the way you do this one is you put your arm, I'll show you first, and then we'll do it together, okay, everybody? So you put your arms up here because you're a big egg. Hi, Finn! Finn, are you standing up and making a big egg with your hands right now?
I hope he is.
And we want to rock back and forth. And this is how it goes. I'll do it once, and then we can do it together. So, rock and rock and rock on the wall. Rock and rock, we hope we don't fall. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Whoop. And then we're going to go really fast. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. And then we're going to say crack and take a bow. Crack. Okay, that's my Humpty Dumpty song. So everybody, let's do it again. Rock and rock on the wall. You ready, Rose? You ready, Rapunzel? I'm going to step on you, which I really don't want to do. Okay.
I'm not gonna.
Okay, scoot over then so I don't hurt you. All right, ready? Rocking, everybody. Rock and rock on the wall. Rock and rock, we hope we don't fall. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Whoop. Back up. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Crack. All right, that's my Humpty Dumpty song. Yep, okay, I'm not gonna do it. Okay, so.
Do that.
No, there's a song doing the Humpty Dump. It's a dance, okay? Riley! Hi, Riley. Welcome to Storytime. And Morgan! Oh, you girls.
I want you to do it.
No, I don't know it. So when we were in the woods, like I was saying, there's all these like mixed up stories. And I don't know. Oh, wait. I forgot to read you one other thing I found out about Humpty Dumpty before we move on from him. This is a great book called Other Goose. Other Goose! Re-nurseried and re-rhymed children's classics. So this is silly takes on...
Please read my favorite one at some point.
Which one is your favorite one?
The Blah Blah Blah.
Oh, blah, blah, blah.
Maybe
Okay.
it's super short. So
All right, so
read it now.
I'll do it at the end. This has 3 parts, okay? 3 chapters to this book. And here's Humpty. Part 1. Humpty Dumpty wasn't that tall. Humpty Dumpty went to the mall. He searched all the shelves again and again until Humpty found a true bargain. What did he buy? Shoes. All right, we'll come back to that. See what happens in part 2. Meanwhile, I told you that I saw the 3 pigs. Well,
Wait, Mom, we have to. Oh, wait.
and I saw the wolves. And they had this book. They're all confused. This is called The 3 Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. What? This is by Eugene Trevias and illustrated by Helen Oxenbury. This comes from Margaret K. McElderry books. Once upon a time, there were 3 cuddly little wolves in soft fur and fluffy tails who lived with their mother. The first was black, the second was gray, and the third was white. One day, the mother called the 3 little wolves around her and said, "My children, it's time for you to go out into the world. Go and build a house for yourselves, but beware of the big, bad pig." "Don't worry, Mother. We will watch for him," said the 3 little wolves, and they set off. Soon they met a kangaroo who was pushing a wheelbarrow full of red and yellow bricks. "Please, will you give us some of your bricks?" asked the 3 little pigs. The 3 little wolves. "Certainly," said the kangaroo, and she gave them lots of red and yellow bricks. So the 3 of the little wolves built themselves a house of bricks. The very next day, the big bad pig came prowling around the road and saw the house of bricks that the little wolves have built. Look at that face. The 3 little wolves were playing croquet in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside the house and locked the door. The pig knocked on the door and grunted, little wolves, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the 3 little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig.
Down, down, down.
So he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his sledgehammer, and he knocked the house down. The 3 little wolves only managed to escape before the bricks crumbled, and they were very frightened indeed. "We shall have to build a stronger house," they said. Just then they saw a beaver who was mixing concrete in a concrete mixer. "Please, will you give us some of your concrete?" asked the 3 little wolves. "Certainly," said the beaver, and he gave them buckets and buckets full of messy, slurry concrete. So the 3 little wolves built themselves a house of concrete. Think the pig can get through that?
Yeah.
No sooner than they finished than the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of concrete that the little wolves had built. They were playing battledore and shuttlecock in the garden, and when they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside their house and shut the door. The pig The pig rang the bell. "Little frightened wolves, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves, "but the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed. But the house didn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his pneumatic drill and smashed the house down. He's very resourceful. The three little wolves managed to escape, but their chinny chin chins were trembling and trembling and trembling. "We shall build an even stronger house," they said, because they were very determined. Just then, they saw a truck coming along the road carrying barbed wire, iron bars, armor plates, and heavy metal padlocks. "Please, will you give us some of your barbed wire, a few iron bars and armor plates, and some heavy metal padlocks?" they said to the rhinoceros who was driving the truck. "Sure," said the rhinoceros, and he gave them plenty of barbed wire, iron, armor plates, and heavy metal padlocks. He also gave them some plexiglass and some reinforced steel chains, because he was a generous and kind-hearted rhinoceros. So the three little wolves built themselves an extremely strong house. It was the strongest, securest one could possibly imagine. They felt absolutely safe. The next day, the big bad pig came prowling along the road as usual, and the three little wolves were playing hopscotch in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside their house and bolted the door and locked the 37 padlocks. The pig dialed the video entrance phone and said, "Little frightened wolves with a trembling chins, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and he puffed, but the house did not fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing, as we know. He brought some dynamite, laid it against the house, lit the fuse, and the house blew up. Wah! The three little wolves just managed to escape with their fluffy tails scorched. Oh boy, something must be wrong with our building materials, they said. We have to try something different. But what? At that moment, they saw a flamingo coming along, pushing a wheelbarrow full of flowers. "Please, will you give us some flowers?" asked the little wolves. "With pleasure," said the flamingo. And he gave them lots and lots of flowers. So the three little wolves built themselves a house made of flowers. On the wall was marigolds, one of daffodils, one of pink roses, and one of cherry blossoms. The ceiling was made of sunflowers, and the floor was a carpet of daisies. They had water lilies in the bathtub and buttercups in the refrigerator. But it was a rather fragile house, and it swayed in the wind, but it was very beautiful. The next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of flowers that the three little wolves had built. He rang the blue bell at the door and said, "Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins and the scorched tails, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. But as he took a deep breath, ready to huff and puff, he smelled the soft scent of the flowers. It was fantastic, and because the scent was so lovely, the pig took another breath and then another. Instead of huffing and puffing, he began to sniff. He sniffed deeper and deeper until he was quite filled with the fragrant scent. His heart grew tender, and he realized how horrible he had been. Right then, he decided to become a big, good pig. He started to sing and to dance the Tenterella. At first, the three little wolves were a bit worried. It might be a trick, but soon they realized that the pig had truly changed. So they came running out of the house. They started playing games with him. First, they played pig-pog, and then piggy in the middle. And when they were all tired, they invited him into the house. They offered him tea and strawberries and wolfberries and asked him to stay with them as long as he wanted. The pig accepted, and they all lived happily together ever after. Look at that. Yay! I really like that one because it's just adorable. And I like that the flowers survived all the evil and that they used good things to break down a hard heart, which was nice. Okay, part 2 of Humpty Dumpty, you guys. Humpty Dumpty went for a stroll. Humpty Dumpty stepped in a hole. His shoe got stuck. He was in a bind. So Humpty had to leave that shoe behind. Oh, look at that golden shoe.
Why can't we read the second one?
We will.
We start out.
All right, guys. It's time to move around. We just read a long book. And since things are so wackadoodle out there in the deep, dark woods, I need to do a song that I just know.
Hey, Mom, look
And that
at
everybody
that.
just knows. Oh, there's the big, one of the 3 little wolves. So I have to
And
do...
it's also the softest one.
It's also the softest one. Okay, so I thought it would be good to do a song we all know and love, okay? Just to get ourselves back. So, Big Red Bus. It's a favorite of mine. I hope it's a favorite of yours. So first step...
He's never even done this.
Well, this is what we're doing now. So we can zoom another time. You ready? Okay, Big Red Bus. Let's see your steering wheels. Ready? Do you guys know this one out there? All right. 1, 2, 3. Big red bus, mini, 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 and a big red bus. Big red bus, mini, 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 and a big red bus. Ferrari, Ferrari. You could really do that with your hair. Mini, 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 and a big red bus. Ferrari, Ferrari. Mini, 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 and a big red bus. All right, jumbo jets, guys. You ready? Jumbo jet, jumbo jet. Helicopter, helicopter, jumbo jet. Jumbo jet, jumbo jet. Helicopter, helicopter, jumbo jet. A rocket, a rocket. Helicopter, helicopter, jumbo jet. A rocket, a rocket. Helicopter, helicopter, jumbo jet. I'm gonna take it in for a landing, guys. It's always good to land when you have a cape on that helps you fly. All right, part 3 and the epilogue of Humpty Dumpty. Part 3. Humpty Dumpty had a big shoe. Humpty Dumpty used to have 2. He clopped in a circle again and again, but his shoes would never be together again. Epilogue. 3 days later, all the park squirrels and all the store's mice turned Humpty's shoe into something not nice. All right, there is another one that this is Rose's favorite, and I'm just gonna have to read it because it's hilarious. You guys know Baa Black Sheep? All right, this is blah blah black sheep. Instead of ba, it's blah.
I thought it was Baba.
Blah blah black sheep. Baa black sheep, have you any wool? Let me see, he said after a lull. This is for the master, this is for the dame, this is for someone who lives down the lane. So now.
I do it again, but say it's a no part super funny.
I thought I did. Baa black sheep, have you any wool? Let me see, as he said after a lull. This is for the master, this is for the dame, this is for someone who lives down the lane. So no. So no, you don't have, no wool for you. All right, so in the deep dark woods, there was one book that I found that is so confused and so twisted and changed that I just don't even know which way to go in this book, okay? So let's just give it a try. There's a lot of different people. This is where most of the characters in the Deep Dark Woods gathered in this story. And things got very, very, very confused. This is called Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Book by Lauren Child. She does the illustrations, which means she does the pictures and the words. This might be a little bit. This book is dedicated to the very special Michael and Nora. And this is printed, I'm not sure, by Hyperion Books for Children. This book belongs to Herb. Somebody put a sticker on me. Thank you, Pat, David, Ben, and Emily. Hyperion Books for Children. Herb loves storybooks. Although he wasn't a very good reader, it didn't matter because he could tell a lot from the pictures. Herb liked the scary ones best, with pictures of dinosaurs gobbling up other dinosaurs, or swooping vampires chasing people who foolishly decided to go for a midnight stroll without any garlic. Herb read his books everywhere. This was why many of the pages were stickily stuck together, soggy around the edges, and usually had bits of banana, cookie, and other odd pea squashed between. And the odd pea squashed between the pages. Ew! On this particular night, Herb's friend Easy was staying over. Earlier, the two of them had been playing a game involving messing up the room quite a bit. By the evening, Herb had trouble even finding his bed. By the time he had, Easy was already snoring slightly. So Herb searched around for a book to amuse him until he dozed off. But the only one he managed to find was a book of fairy tales. It hadn't been looked at in a very long time and was quite dusty. It was actually quite exciting, but even so, Herb's eyes soon became heavy, and before he could close the book, he fell asleep with his head on the page. Herb woke with a start to hear a strange, high-pitched shrieking noise. He looked over to see if Easy was awake, but there was no sign of him at all. Furthermore, his bed had become sort of lumpy and huge, which was funny because Herb had always found his bed just right. "What are you doing here? How dare you be on this page? I am the star, and I say you are not allowed in this story," shrieked the shrieking thing. "Where am I?" stammered Herb. "On my page," screeched the girl. "But who are you?" asked Herb. Not sure that he wanted to know. "I," said the little girl, somehow managing to raise her voice even higher, "I am Goldilocks, of course, and this is my story." And that's when it dawned on Herb that he had fallen into the book. Herb scrabbled out of bed and fast as he could scooted down the stairs and went slap bang whop into 3 different-sized bears. "Whoops! I'm so sorry," squeaked Herb, terrified. "I didn't mean to be here." "Oh, that's quite all right," said the largest bear. "It could happen to anyone." "And does all the time," said the smallest bear, scowling at Goldilocks. "How about some porridge?" said the medium-sized bear. "You might find it too hot or too cold." "I'm afraid we're out of just right." "Ahem," coughed Goldilocks. "In case you pea-brains have forgotten, this story is called Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, not the little show-off in pajama has breakfast." Herb ran off. He ran past 2 children nibbling a house made of gingerbread. "I wouldn't do that," called Herb. "Oh, get lost!" shouted the children. He ran past a man climbing up what looked like a long braid of hair. "Ouch!" cried the voice belonging to the hair. And when he saw a cat wearing a feathered hat and high-heeled boots, Herb ran a bit faster. Herb ran all the way through the forest. At long last, he came to an enormous door. It was difficult to open because the illustrator had drawn the handle much too high up. But after 3 attempts at jumping, Herb managed to grab it and slowly creaked the door open. And who might you be? You have to help me hold that. There seemed to be a party going on. Everyone was dressed to the nines and dancing in wigs. One by one, the dancers noticed Herb, and the music ground slowly to a halt. It was so quiet you could have heard a pea drop. Or was it a pin? Well, you could have heard something drop, and it would not have been for a crowd having furious discussions and loud voices. Where the dickens is that Prince Charming? Never mind him. Where is my throne? Herb couldn't help noticing that the Queen had a mustache drawn with a ballpoint pin. And who might you be? Demanded the Queen. This is a private royal party, you know. No one in pajamas is invited. I'm Herb, said Herb. I own this book. Oh, so you're the doodler who ruined my looks, she said, pointing at her mustache. And where's my throne? You scissor snipper! He must have cut it up. And then, it was then that Herb remembered. Last year, when he was much, much younger, he had drawn mustaches and glasses all over many of his book characters and added telephones to all the rooms. He had been going through a scribbling phase and he had also cut out the royal thrones for a model spaceship that he and Easy were making. And he had a horrible feeling that he might be responsible for the disappearance of Prince Charming. As Herb wondered desperately what to do next, he noticed his pencil case lying on the floor. He'd been looking for it for months. It's all right, I can draw you a new throne, he said. And I want it gold, of course, ordered the Queen. Herb didn't have a gold pencil. It would have to be green. The Queen did not look impressed. Then, finding the eraser, Herb started to rub away the Queen's mustache. Ow, 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 that really hurts. Seize him, she roared. Herb made a dash for it. There wasn't time to go to the door, but by snipping a hole in the palace floor, Herb managed to wriggle through onto the next page. He could hear the Queen shouting, "Look, he's at it again!" He cut a hole and got through. Uh-oh. Now we can't get to the ball and Prince Charming can't fall madly and utterly in love with us. It's so unfair, whined the pudgy sister. He wouldn't look twice at you, snapped the skinny one. Oh, be quiet, hissed the stepmother, feeling queasy. Probably some hideous little boy, snarled the stepmother, fixing her with her beady eyes. Uh-oh, now what do I do? Herb found himself in an oddly arranged room. Now I'm confused. Looking up, Herb saw Cinderella, wickedly mean stepmother, and her ugly daughters. I'm Herb, Herb called Herb. What are we doing up here? Now I don't know which way to go, you guys. I'm confused. Wait. Just then, the telephone started to ring. Sticking telephones into fairy tales had seemed funny at the time, but Herb could see that it could turn out to be rather nuisance. Hello. Why, hello, Your Majesty. Yes, as a matter of fact, there is a little pajamaed boy here. He did what? Oh, he did he? Don't worry. I'll deal with that little weasel, she said, giving Herb a shriveling look. Oh, and by the way, if you see that nosy Goldilocks, tell her to bring my ladder over. So this is your doing, she screamed, leaping into the chair. I'm going to make you wish you'd never opened a book. Speedily, her come back! Here, you little horror, she screeched. Herb speedily drew her door on the wall and ran through it and slammed it shut. But now which way do I go? Am I going backwards? Herb was in a very dusty kitchen. His feet were sticking to the floor, and there was what looked like a giant cookie crumbs all over the place. Sorry about the dirt, said the bedraggled yet pretty girl. Aren't you meant to be at the royal ball? Asked Herb. Yes, but I had to come home because the achoo! Was late, and my party dress dissolved into rags, and a mess. And then my carriage turned back into a pumpkin, which was sort of embarrassing. A cup of achoo tea? She was really nice, and Herb was beginning to feel extremely guilty, because he had just remembered where Prince Charming was. Herb had cut him out to make a birthday card for his mother. If only I could get out of this book, I could find the prince for you, he said. Oh, I know who can help, said Cinderella, picking up the phone. Good thing there was a phone there. Drat! Absolutely maddening! I was just in the middle of a spell. This had better be important. It's an emergency! Absolutely everybody's after me. You have to help me get out of this book, yelled Herb. Well, let me see. A, are you a fairy godchild? No, you are not. I do not do boys or girls. Worst luck. Only girls. Worst luck. B, what do you expect when you go about scribbling and snippering and generally causing mayhem? This is no way to treat a book, you know. And C, jumping into other people's stories really is very rude. But I can't find my way out, pleaded Herb, near his wit's end. All right, keep your pajamas on. I suppose I'll have to come to the rescue as always. Now, where did I put my wand? And at that moment, the door flew open. He's in your kitchen looking for more food. It was the unmistakably ear-piercing voice of Goldilocks. Right behind her was the wicked stepmother, and she was not in a pretty mood, having snagged her stockings climbing a ladder out of the upside-down room. What shall I do? Asked Herb, flustered. Quick, climb up the text to the fairy godmother. Herb grabbled hold of the letters and he scrabbled up the sentences. Some of the words were a bit weak, and the whole pile started to wobble. He's getting away! Screamed Goldilocks so loudly that the whole book shook and slipped off the bed, sending Herb falling headlong through and into and on in the air onto his own bedroom floor. What's happening? Squealed a startled Easy, sitting bolt upright in his bed. As you can imagine, it all took some explaining. Easy and Herb spent the rest of the night putting the storybook back to its rights, rubbing out mustaches, cleaning out crumbs, and blowing away dust. The bewildered Prince Charming was pried off the birthday card and taped back into the ballroom. His dancing would never quite be the same again due to severe leg creasing. It was tempting to leave the wicked stepmother's room upside down, but Herb resisted. However, he just couldn't help drawing a padlock on the three bears' front door, and Easy just couldn't help sticking a wig on Goldilocks. Well, serves her right for being a meanie. So the next time Herb opened the book, he saw a little girl standing outside the Three Bears' cottage, desperately trying to open the door. A very cross little girl with mousy brown hair. Doot, in a padlock. She can't get in. All right. Okay, so guys, sorry that cut off on us, but luckily we're back on, and so hopefully you'll see the second half. And I just have a few announcements. Tune in tomorrow at 3 for our next Imagine a Better World challenge. It's going to be a good one. So tomorrow at 3, look for that. And then on Friday, we have a special guest coming to Storytime. The mayor of Lexington is going to come to our window, and he's going to tell us about his story, which is super, super awesome. So be sure to tune in at 10:30 on Friday. And before we get on the goodbye train to go back to the deep, dark woods to return these stories and see if we can help them figure themselves out, we're going to wash our hands, because we know that this is something we've got to do all day long. All the time. And so when you have to wash your hands, you sing this song, and then you're sure to be clean. Are you ready? All right. Tops and bottoms. All right. 1, 2, 3. Tops and bottoms, tops and bottoms. In between, in between. Rub them all together, rub them all together. Now they're clean. Squeaky clean. Again. Tops and bottoms, tops and bottoms. In between, in between. Rub them all together, rub them all together. Now they're clean. Yeah, squeaky clean. Okay, all aboard. It's time to get on that goodbye train. Today it goes to the deep dark woods. I'll see you on Friday for more. We'll see if I find more mixed up characters. Oh, there's a big truck. Oh, the goodbye train is leaving. See ya soon. Choo, choo. Oh, the goodbye train is leaving. See ya soon. Choo, choo. Oh, the goodbye train is leaving. The goodbye train is leaving. Oh, the goodbye train is leaving. See ya soon. Choo.